called Tim Karl Century Lanes. Describe it, it's small, older, friendly, personalized. Because there are two levels of lanes makes it unique, because you don't see that much anymore these days. I've been here since, this one since 1990, so 22, going on 23 years. Started when I was 13 at a place, just doing after school, filling coolers, ripping the score sheets because automatic scoring wasn't really a big thing. In fact, back in that day, I don't know that there was automatic scoring yet, around 73, so. And I sat behind a counter and just handed out shoes and put people on lanes for open bowling, and that's all I had to do was sit there, and it'd be for 3-4 hours on a Saturday afternoon, and I always had my kids here with me. One was born in 90, one in 93, one in 97. And when the first one in 90, which was Chelsea, it was like I had a friend that owned a neon company, and I don't know how we got on it, but just said, you know, it'd be neat to have a neon made and I'll hang it up. So we came up with, okay, let's call it Chelsea's Lounge. So we did that, and then in 93, when we had our next daughter, Lindsay, well, L&L for Lindsay's Lanes, that's got a catch to it. So, all right, let's do that neon. And then 97, well, then it was Joshua, and there's not a lot you can put with Joshua. We just said, let's just do a sign called Joshua's. And it's become a neat topic when people come in, or, you know, you get a lot of family things, and if these not even just kids, but adults, they see their name, if they're named Chelsea, Lindsay, or Josh, they'll go and stand in front of one of the signs and have their picture taken with the sign. So just kind of a cool thing. And it was always neat to me because, you know, you hear a lot when you run a small place, and that was a way I always had my kids here with me. And then they kind of grew up here on weekends. When I'd come in, I'd have them come with me, and while I might be doing work, they would be out here bowling, and then they grew up with it that way.
My name's Joshua Karl, and my dad, Tim's my dad, and well, growing up, like with a father who owns a bowling alley, I guess it's cool, I guess you could say, because not a lot of people have the opportunity to bowl as much as me and my sisters could, and having it's kind of, because we would always come here like on Sundays for football games, so it's kind of like you have like a second home.
You know, I don't exactly know the date it was built, but I believe it does date back to the 30s. It's like the downstairs lanes when they did this, because the older gentleman that actually built it, he comes in here with his children at times. Not, well, his kids, they're grown up now too. But he had told some stories of when they did that. They dug it out by hand. And when they put the machines in, you know, you couldn't come in with a forklift and do any of that. They brought the machines in piece by piece. And being in a small house, I mean, lane 1 to 6, you know, you're out here bowling, and you know, you can really jab at each other from one end to the other. Or they threaten that if they don't like a person or how they're acting, they're gonna send them down and make them bowl on a pair of lanes downstairs instead. So, yeah, it's kind of neat, because open bowling, it was always tough for people, especially when leagues were real big all over. Now, you know how that's dropped a bit. A lot of your houses will have some lanes, but here kind of did it, and because of not being able to get as many league bowlers, kind of designated the main level 1 through 6 as leagues, lanes 7 through 12 downstairs as for open play or parties, and they can, you know, private parties. You get groups in here, they can take over the whole area. There's a bar down there, their own bathrooms, their own jukebox, and 6 lanes that they can utilize that as just their own private party, and they're not worried about, you know, any interference from outside people. It's just their group. Yeah, a few years ago it was kind of neat when the Packers were playing. I think they played against Pittsburgh, and CBS Sports came to town, and one guy from there, and then they called and came in, a few different times, and he just asked if they could come in. Phil Simms, Jim Nance, Leslie Vissers, They all came in, and naturally they wanted to keep it low key though, so that was a case where having the two levels was really neat, and they like to bowl. Phil Simms likes to bowl, so they had asked if we would put them on the lower level, and they would just come in, have some drinks. They were all really nice, and they went out to their vehicle and had this nice big CBS banner, and they all signed it, and whenever they would come to town, they would try to make it a point to be here. Yeah, the Packer players, when they practiced over around by St. Norbert's there, and they would come over here and drink Schlitz on tap. And it was always, I guess, brought up how, well, they had to get back before Coach Lombardi would find out. And they all, I don't know how it started, but they signed a wall. And then for a while, that wall was covered up, but then exposed. And then to keep other people from signing, I had a cabinet built to protect those signatures. And so that a lot of those signatures from 67, 8, 9, 70, your big name players that we'd all remember, the legends, Jerry Kramer, Bart Starr, Forrest Gregg, I could go on, but they're all signed on that wall. But yeah, that was kind of a story with that. They'd hang out and drink Schlitz on tap, I guess. Like I said earlier too, went on to a couple other jobs, but it was always like the bowling thing was fun, and the small center thing. Just always liked that, and never really considered a larger center, and partially because of the camaraderie and the fun you can have with the people, and you get to know them, and they become your friends or good acquaintances anyway.